Hi, welcome to Sipokoito Table Tennis Review. We will be reviewing some of the rubbers, mostly from China, some from Hong Kong, and blades. All wooden blades, Hourlight, carbon blades, all blades from Butterfly, and mostly for the new blade from Yinhe or Galaxy. First, let's start with the equipment that we will be reviewing. First things first, this is the Butterfly Express I received from my dad in 1979. The original racket came with a Schreiber rubber. During that time, we can use both red or maroon. I still remember Yasaka introduced the Mark V or Tornado, if I'm not mistaken, in color yellow. I had the pleasure of using Schreiber and then Schreiber Super Schreiber, and then I ventured into Short Pimple Challenger, which is kind of fast during the time, and Schreiber, and then I went to Friendship, and then DHS PH4. The blade is very good. I have a small hand, and this flare somehow adopted for my small hand. I can easily flick it, and I can easily move my wrist. Recently, I removed the DHS PF4, which was stocky after several years on the racket. It was still tacky, which is I will discuss later the importance of keeping a plastic on the rubber. Now I put a Mercury Long Pimple Neptune and a Taiji Sunway Taiji T88. Review. For deception, the Long Pimple from Neptune is quite acceptable. It is not the best, but it can do, and it can generate a lot of tricks. You can do a flat ball, a float ball, a spin reversal, not to the extent as like a spectral or a spin up, but it's good. I had the pleasure of using a feint once. It's not comparable to paint though, but it's still good. The Taiji is a little bit tacky, but I like the bounce and the softness of the rubber. There is one drawback though, the rubber is not that fast. Well, for my style, it gives me enough control so I can put the ball anywhere I want if I'm playing a defensive play. Since I'm using it with a long pimple, I always stand a meter away from the table and let the opponent just spin and attack, and I will just chop the ball. And if it is at the backhand, I'll use the long pimple. I have a tendency to twiddle though, so but it's a disadvantage nowadays because people can tell which one you're using. The good thing about Taiji is, number one, it's very durable. Number two, it's not as tacky as a DHS rubbers like Neo 3, H3, H2, Skyline, but it's still there. The speed is comparable to some of the DHS like Magician, and it's still good, but it's way better, in my honest opinion, it's way better than a PF4. Now, the next racket, this is circa 1979. This racket, a Butterfly Siemens, I assembled it for my sister in 1984. And since then, I never replaced the rubber. Now, point one. I always kept the plastic on top of the top sheet on the rubber on both sides. This is a PF4. You can see that it's an old style PF4 judging from the logo. Is it visible? There is no ITTF number, and the friendship, not a super friendship, 729. As you can see, it's very old. Now, what is the advantage of keeping the plastic on the top sheet? This is a rubber that I glued on the blade in 1984. And you can see there's still, oh, the tacken is still there. And you'll see that, oh, it's still very grippy. It only proves one thing. By putting a plastic on your rubber sheet, on the top sheet, it can preserve the tackiness and grip indefinitely. This is a 1984 rocket. That puts us how many years? 30 years old, 30-year-old rocket. And the grip and the tackiness is still there. I was surprised actually when I tested this one. Next is this one. My first Chinese penhold rocket. You can see from the wood that it is one of those old Friendship solid heavy Chinese penhold. It is a Friendship all throughout. Still, it's very tacky. And this is circa 1996. As you can see, I had difficulty in removing the plastic sheet. And when you test it, not bad for a 1996 Friendship rocket. It's a 729 Super FX. And you can check, you can hang it indefinitely there. And if you can check the grip, oh, although the sponge is not that lively as compared to a new one, the grip is still there. Again, it proves one thing, that by putting a plastic sheet on top of your rubber, it will preserve the grip and the tackiness for an indefinite period of time. The next one is my third rocket. I bought this rocket on the merit that it was light actually, and the wood, I judged that it was a 7-ply light wood, and I put a Milky Way Mercury in it. One thing I like with the Mercury is its speed. It's not ducky, and it's not reactive, or it doesn't react that much to incoming spin. The speed is good, and you can literally use it just like a defensive and all around rubber. I coupled it with the DHS PF4. I curved the handle in such a way that I can adopt the whole rocket so I can do an RPB. The DHS is very good in making that RPB. I find it very helpful, especially if I want to save some point. If the opponent can't reply flat-footed, standing on the extreme left hand on the table, I always do an RPB, and it's somehow helped me. Mercury, cheap, very durable. I have this rubber for more than 1 year now. I've been using it once a week for 2 hours, and it's still grippy. The sponge still lively. I never tried removing it though, but It is very good. If you're starting with on table tennis, you can start with a Mercury, Yinhe Milky Way Mercury, or a Corvair, a Reactor Corvair. The next one on the list is the Reactor Thunder, and then a Friendship 80240. Now, this is my first carbon penhold blade or rocket. The Thunder, one thing I like about the Thunder is that it is not tacky, but it is grippy. It is fast, but not as fast as Tenergy. It is cheap, so I can replace it every 3 months. Now, about the short pimple, if you're venturing out to short pimple, I believe the best short pimple out there is, one of the best probably, is 80240 from Friendship. You can generate a lot of spin from this one. Yes, it somehow reacts to incoming spin, but it will help you develop that that style that you need to use short pimple if you're coming from an inverted rubber. Somehow the angle is not that far. You just need to open up a little, very little, and the stroke and the stand, you can maintain it. That is one good thing about this short pimple. Highly recommended if you want to try short pimple. Reactor Thunder, for the price and for the spin and the joy that I'm getting from it, defense and attack, highly recommended. Now, the T11. In tabletennisdb.com, there is one person who asked about a beginner's racket. My son is currently using a T11 in a shake hand. I have one T11, a shake hand. One good thing about this blade is that it is not as unforgiving as other fast blade. To be honest with you, I have a blade that is fast, less faster, but less unforgiving. I have a T4 here, which has a DHS H3 with a G888 rubber at the back, on the backhand. And believe me, I have difficulty in controlling the ball. On the T11, however, the control is there, the speed is there, everything is just right. I like the feel, I like the feedback when it hit the ball. The rubber that I'm using is T88i with Target on the sponge, and Su Xiaofa 999. The combination is just fantastic. I can serve and I can feel the ball when the ball hits the rubber. The feedback on this blade is so good that it's the vibration is not offensive, but rather it gives me that feeling that I know when to twist or to flex my wrist to give that spin. And it's also useful when you're trying to stop the ball by blocking it. T88 if you want speed, T88i. Very cheap rubber, and in my honest opinion, it is way faster than a Tenergy. I've used Shriver, I use Tenergy, I use Siam. I believe this is way faster than Tenergy. And there is a strange sound when you hit the ball using the T88 actually. The ball it's breaking, it's having that crackling sound that as if it's popping or breaking. The T88 is cheap, highly recommended. Su Xiaofa, if you want a Chinese tacky rubber with a lively sponge, go for a Su Xiaofa. Next one, Ebenholz. Ebenholz, this is a clone of the original Ebenholz 7. This is from HRT, Huar White. It's HRT 7 Ebenholz clone. I put a Transcend 729 Transcend, which is a very good rubber, and a Super 999 on the other side. This is a national, this is a 99T version, which is supposed to be faster and spinnier than the normal Globe 999. However, I find it so tacky and not lively, but it's still good rubber for beginners. They can practice their serve on this one. But if you're looking for a flexible rubber that you can use for attack and block, you can't go wrong on the 729 Transcend. The blade is fast, but still I cannot generate enough speed on the 999. However, on the Transcend, I can generate enough speed that when I block or even counter spin, I have that extra millisecond of returning the ball, and it always catch my opponent flat-footed, especially if I return the ball when they spin and I try to hit the space, the area in front of their elbow. It's kind of difficult to return. I like the Transcend. It is not that expensive. I like the Transcend on the Ebenholz. You should try it and you will see what I mean. The next one is the T4. I bought this blade based on the review. They said that it is fast. Yes, it's fast, but the problem is I don't have the consistency that I like. Some people, they have good success in it. I don't have any problems with the craftsmanship. It is beautifully made, but the problem is the control is not there. Maybe it's my style. I'm not that good, but still, compared to a T11, I prefer the T11 and the Ebenholz. Hurricane H3, a lot of people are complaining about the speed. It's true, but once you use it, after several days of using it, maybe 10 hours of using it, the rubber just comes into life. It's so good. The tackiness is still there, the grip is there, and the speed suddenly just appear. I like it on my forehand because I can serve, I can spin, and I can also block with it. A lot of people use an H3 with a Tenergy. I tried using it with the Siam Pro, Omega Pro 4 on a block sponge, and it gives me a good result on the backhand. I like the serve. I like to serve, and using my handshake grip, I like to serve with my H3 and do my flick using the Siam. This time I glued the G88 just to try the tackiness. Between the two, H3 is stockier, and next is the G888. Among the rubbers that I've tested and used, none is as stocky as the Hurricane H3. Then next is the G888. It is so tacky that you can literally use it as a fly trap. And the moment you use it in a dirty place, like a place full of dust, believe me, it will just attract dust like it's a vacuum cleaner. The tackiest rubber, if you want Chinese tacky rubber, this is it. Next is, oh, where is it? Oh, DHS Skyline Neo 3. Now, for me, this is the best rubber that DHS ever produced. It is a tension rubber, it is fast, and yet it is grippy. I can produce tons of spin on this one. Just yesterday, I used it to teach kids, how to return side spin, underspin, and it is very good if you're teaching people how to serve and how to